Hello, welcome back. Now we've had our induction hob here for over a year now. I've made a separate video about the benefits of induction hobs versus traditional gas hobs and the other options, so I'll link that down below if you're interested in finding out more about that and a bit about how they work, etc. But today, now that we've been using it for over a year, I thought it would be a good time to give a bit of a longer term review of our induction hob. You can see whether or not we still like it, and also share some tips and tricks for getting the most out of your induction hob. So stick around. Also, if you're new here, I post regular content about home improvements and home technology, so I would love to have you as a subscriber and have you come back soon. So please do make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button as well. So let's get into it. Now, first up, you've got to make sure that you have the right pans, and this is perhaps the most important thing of all. Induction hobs work using electromagnetism, so you need to find pans that are affected by magnets basically. So that's a yes to ferrous metals and some kind of stainless steels, but aluminium and glass and things like that aren't going to work. Now you can actually get adapters to turn non-ferrous metal pans into pans that will work on induction hobs. I've never tried these. I'd be interested to hear from anyone who has, but we didn't have super expensive pans before anyway, so we just went out and invested in some new ones. There's a couple of ways you can test whether or not your pans will work on an induction hob if you're not sure, and the main one is by using a magnet. The other side of it is that you actually, when you buy it, you can look for that induction hob sign, and that'll tell you whether or not it's going to work and be compatible. The next important thing to remember is be strict. Don't be tempted to start using your induction hob as a chopping board. Obviously it's a lovely flat surface in comparison to something like a gas hob, so it's really tempting to try and use it as an extension of your work surface, but don't do it because they do damage really easily. Now we've got into quite good habits with ours and we are now used to being really careful, but sometimes when the kitchen's busy and chaotic, you do start getting tempted to just budge over onto this space a bit. That brings me nicely onto my next tip, which is if you can't be strict, be careful. Now, inevitably, from time to time, I do use the top of my induction hob for some very gentle activities. And when I do, say that I'm grabbing a tray out of the oven and I've literally got nowhere else to put it, I just grab a tea towel and put that down, and that saves causing any damage. Occasionally I put like the kids' trays of food and prepare those on there as well, but I really don't do any hardcore activities on here, but it does just save me if I've got my hands full and there's no space in the kitchen. So a little good tip as well. I have seen some dedicated induction hob coverers available on things like Amazon, but then I read some reviews about them catching fire, so for me personally I haven't risked going down that line yet. If I found some that were recommended perhaps by the manufacturer, I might consider those, but I haven't seen any of those yet. If you've had a different experience and you've found some that work, do please let me know in the comments below though. Another important tip on a similar note is be really careful about putting anything metal on your hob other than the pan that you're actually cooking with, because it's quite easy if you're using something like this to accidentally pop it down, and if you've put it on a hob that is turned on, this will then heat up, and if you pick it up you're going to burn yourself, so just watch out for that. Now this next tip may require a bit of a change in your cooking style because I prefer to normally kind of cook on the fly, but I've had to adjust that with an induction hob because they do heat up so quickly and evenly. If you're doing something like putting oil on to heat up and you think that you're going to have enough time to dice your onions or get your ingredients ready, actually you may find that you don't and it catches you out. So now I try and prepare a little bit more in advance, and then once I pop that oil on and we get cooking, it all gets going really quickly. Another tip that requires you to think about the way that you're cooking is clean up spills as soon as they happen, because otherwise you can end up with a big puddle, a big mess, and it actually affects how your pan works once you start to get all that moisture under there as well. Now, if you work out the best way to use your induction hob, you can find the kind of perfect temperature to cook at where things don't heat up too quickly and then start boiling over. But initially, because we've got this power button on ours and you push that on and it gives your pans a real boost and it does get them moving really quickly, I found that actually as soon as my back was turned, they were boiling over, there was a big mess, and it was all, it actually took me more time than it would have done if I'd just got it on the right setting. So 7 is the magic number for us. It may be different on your hob, but the sooner you work that out, I think it actually saves you time in the long run. In terms of what you clean with, something like a damp cloth is absolutely fine. So if you're cleaning during the cooking process where something's overflowed, just obviously be really careful because your hob may be hot from the residual heat from the pan. So the hob itself doesn't heat up, but some of that heat does kind of feed back, so it may be hot to touch. I find generally with a damp cloth like this, I'm fairly safe to just quickly go over it as long as I'm not pressing and touching on any of it for too long. But definitely avoid using anything abrasive because, as you may have gathered, they do damage and scratch quite easily, so that's not a good solution at all. And finally, if you want to get your hob squeaky clean, I find actually at the end of a cooking session, it's absolutely fine just to use a damp cloth and some hot soapy water and that works okay. But occasionally I want to give it a bit of a deeper clean, especially if lots of kind of stains have got on there. So I do find this Hob Right stuff is quite good. Just use that with a cloth as well, nothing too abrasive again. And I can just give that a good clean over it, and that would just lift any kind of lasting stains that I haven't managed to get off. And if you're into shiny, sparkly things, quite honestly, I don't really bother with this because this is in such frequent use that kind of doesn't feel any point, but you can give it a bit of a sparkle up with the white vinegar, and I find that does actually work really well. So that's a tip if you're into shiny sparkly things. So there we go, there's my induction hob tips and tricks after using our hob for a year. Hope that you found them useful. If you did, then please do give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone else that you think might find it useful as well. If you've got any of your own tips or insights from using an induction hob, I would love to hear them. Please do share them in the comments down below, and come back very soon. But thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself and see you soon. Bye bye.